Apparently, the great one is swearing in the new head of the Treasury Department, Geithner. Let's hear it.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office
on which I'm about to enter.
On which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Of course, this is preposterous that Geithner can faithfully execute the office. The man is a tax dodger, worked for the Federal Reserve Bank in New York. He's one and the same of the boys who run the country off the rails. And, of course, he makes a perfect Treasury Secretary at that. So there's nothing shocking about this. And there'll be no... By the way, there was no griping about him on the Fixed News Network. They all said he's a wonderful man for the job. The sock puppet, Neil Cavuto, said, oh, he's the best one. Oh, this is just a small dust-up, not paying taxes. Neil, you know, Neil, a couple of years ago, you had something. You're an embarrassment. But today you hit a new low by letting Jerry Rivers do what he did on your network.
Mr. President,
truthfully.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, and thanks to my many friends and colleagues for being here tonight.
Another boy from NYU.
Stood beside me as I took this oath of office, as she has twice before in this building.
Who cares about your wife? Tell us how you're going to save the country, you creep, you.
Extraordinary grace and support. She has this
extraordinary grace, high school valedictorian.
And empathy.
Yeah, it's her wisdom. There's always the wife's wisdom till they get caught with a boy in the backseat of a car.
Studying for their midterm exams. I hope they're studying. I miss them very much, and I'm very proud of them.
Do you believe this?
My terrific family is represented here tonight by my father, Peter Geithner, and my brother, David.
Can you believe what you're listening to? The country's in the middle of a meltdown, and this schmuck's telling us about how happy he is to be the new Treasury Secretary.
The important gift of showing me the world as a child. They took us to live in Zambia and Rhodesia, and then to India and to Thailand.
Oh, that should help. That should help. That should be really great.
Through the eyes of others.
Oh, my. How about America through the eyes of Americans, you putz?
Of America on the world that led me to work in government.
Oh, yeah, right. It's because you couldn't get a job in the private sector.
20 years ago. And I had at Treasury the wonderful experience of working with smart and dedicated people serving their country.
Serving their country? They bankrupted us, you schmuck.
In an environment where our obligation...
Do you understand that we are being ruled not by the best and the brightest, but by the dumbest and the lowest? These are not smart people. These are bureaucrats. Do you know the difference between a smart man and a bureaucrat? You're listening to a bureaucrat on the other side of the microphone. He is a lifer in government.
And to limit government intervention to where it is essential to protect our financial system.
Did you hear what he just said? He's not going to reign in Wall Street, in other words. That's why they picked the stooge.
Is critically important today because it is the source.
Did you hear what he just said? No government regulation of the gangsters of Wall Street under his regime. That's why they picked the schmuck.
In the world we confront today, Treasury has to be, and Treasury will be, a source of bold initiative.
What does that mean?
We're in a moment of maximum challenge for our economy and for our country.
Look at this double talk. No regulation.
Is to move quickly to help you do what the country asks you to do.
Yeah, what's that?
To launch the programs that will bring economic
Give away more money, in other words, to your cronies on Wall Street that you went to Yale with, or your friends that you met in Uganda.
Opportunities it provides our citizens. To restore trust in our financial system.
Oh, yeah, you'll restore trust, Geithner, sure.
To make our tax system better at rewarding work and investment. To restore
All right, I heard, turn it off already. It's a schoolboy giving a schoolboy speech. I don't have any patience for it. All right, turn it back on just for a minute.
To help me meet that challenge and to restore to all Americans the promise of a better future. I want to thank Larry Summers, who has taught me so much about economic policy.
Oh, another genius. Larry Summers, another genius, worked at Harvard, a great genius.
I'm fortunate he is willing to
A real genius, didn't run a hot dog stand, he worked at Harvard. A real genius, let him try to run a business with the government regulation the way it is today, with what you have to answer here in the state of California. Go try to run a business, you schmucks.
This great privilege of working for you.
A privilege.
Eager to get to work.
I can't take it. Turn it off. That's all. That's our new Treasury Secretary. Okay. You know why he was picked? Because he won't offer any challenges to the establishment on Wall Street. He'll let them to continue to buy $50 million airplanes with bailout money. You read that one, didn't you, today? Could you believe this story? Could you believe that Citibank, as bankrupt as it is, are going ahead with the purchase of a $50 million airplane? No one's stopping them. Why? Why won't the government stop them? Because they are the government. They're one and the same. They're one in the same. I'm getting too excited. I couldn't sleep last night. I don't like this. I'm getting mild tachycardia at night thinking of the show now. I had no idea I'd wake up to this. I had no idea that I'd wake up to Obama giving his first interview on television to a foreign audience, not to the American people. I had no idea I'd wake up to a new Treasury Secretary who would say, no, despite all of the excesses of Wall Street, I am not going to rein in Wall Street. I'm not going to pass any new regulations. In other words, what he's saying is Madoff did nothing wrong.